Hi everybody, I just want to do a very quick video here today, and I just want to talk about, I suppose, the type of human beings that mock, make fun of, openly, not hiding it, publicly celebrate the death of another human being. And this is in reference to Charlie Kirk. I just find it very, very disturbing. Now, I never knew Charlie Kirk. Maybe I was living under a rock, but I had never come across him on YouTube, or I suppose as a content creator. There are so many, I suppose, YouTubers out there now and content creators, but I suppose everybody knows his name now. And I just find it very disturbing, like all these people that are celebrating his death. I think it's absolutely sick. Like, it's really sick, He was a young man, 31 years of age. He had 2 young children and a wife. And it's so disrespectful, to the children and to his wife and all his family. And I think there's just something broken in society as well, that, we've come to this. And what I want to talk about here today, I suppose, is what's happening, I suppose, in all our Western countries here. We have fierce division amongst people, We're all seem to be in categories now according to our beliefs and according to our opinions. You're either on the right, you're on the left. Well, there's no real middle, is there? It's either, right, left. And I think it's fair to say we kind of have this radical far left now at the moment. And these are the people that are publicly, openly coming out saying they're celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Like, it's disturbing, it's sick, and we have to ask ourselves, how do we get to this? But just talk a little bit more about these people. Like, it's fair to say, like, they have been radicalised, because I don't believe everyone in the left is as sick as these people are. These are people that just have to take it, just have to keep pushing it to another level, and wishing death on people. Now, there's so much, I suppose, coming out now in the media, and I don't want to make the video, as I say, long. I'll make it as short as I can, actually. But I'm sure you've all saw the post coming out about, there's a lot of witches coming out saying that they were casting spells and hexes on Charlie Kirk, which is very, very disturbing. And that could nearly be a whole video in itself. And seemingly they were getting these spells off Etsy. You can get, if you ever heard the likes of this, spells on Etsy. This is just crazy stuff. But a lot of these people as well, they don't have their faith. They don't believe in God. They're pagan. And I'm not coming down against, people that are pagan. I'm talking again about people here that I would call extremists and radicalised. And, they're into witchcraft. I'd be 100% against witchcraft. Any of that. It's completely goes against God's teaching. I suppose I am coming from a perspective of faith. But I just feel like it's getting out of control here, in the world. As I said, there is such division. And we're at a stage now, this is both here in Ireland, but it's, all over the world and abroad as well. You can't have a different opinion now. You have certain opinions now. And, people will call you all these X, Y and Z names. I'm not even going to get into them because you all know what the names are. And, there's a lot of hate. And the funny part about it is the hate is coming from the left. And particularly, again, I'm going to call these radical, I would call them extremist leftists, and they absolutely hate people like us, people that have our faith, people that maybe more a bit on the conservative side, people that don't bow the knee, people that speak out about the government, people that have, free thinkers. They just absolutely, like, they do hate us. And I mean, the other thing is we had also 2 children that were killed, martyred in America. So, very recently even. So this is very disturbing what's happening, that, Christians are being attacked, Catholics, and I'm not sure what faith Charlie Kirk was. I know he was Christian. I don't know if he was Catholic. As far as I know, his wife was Catholic. But this is very disturbing, I think. But the one thing I'm going to say about it is that these people, they're not hiding anymore. They're publicly coming out and celebrating suffering and death of another human being. And that just tells you the level of, evil that we're dealing with. I do believe very much this is a spiritual war. And these people, they're warped, like, they need help, and they do need prayers. Like, people do need to pray for them because they're on the dark side. They're definitely not, on the side of light, on the side of God. And I don't want this to be a video of, you know, preaching down to people either, but, you know, it is disturbing, and like America's getting very disturbed at the moment, and just the whole direction, and this is, you know, spilling into Europe. It's happening here in Ireland and England and Europe, that we just have this kind of radical extreme leftism, where people, you know, if you have a different opinion to them, they just cannot handle people having a different opinion. Like, I think we need to come back as a society as well. It's very important even for parents, and I mean, a lot of this is coming from the schools, particularly the colleges, you know, this indoctrination of where if a person has a different opinion, you know, you don't name call people if they have a different opinion. They're entitled to a different opinion. You know what I mean? This has to stop. Like, you know, this is where we're at. You know, if you have certain beliefs now, you are labelled, as I said, your name called. And it's more serious now. People actually hate you. And, you know, we have to see, you know, where is this hate coming from? You know, and a lot of these people that are carrying out these acts, they're young people. So we have to worry about indoctrination and brainwashing, you know, and this extremism and, you know, of these young people to these ideologies where they think it's okay, you know, to hate people if they have a different opinion to you, and to name call them, and at this stage to wish death onto them. This is where we're at, people. You know, this is where we're at. I think it's very disturbing and very worrying. But the only, I suppose, positive thing coming out of all this is Charlie Kirk, you know, is going to be well known now. As I said, I never heard of him. I never even seen his videos or didn't know him as a content creator. But now he's going to be known all over the world, you know. And not only that as well, is that these extreme, what I would call leftists, like, are really exposing themselves, you know, for what they are. You know, it's just pure evil, and they have hatred. And these are the very same ones that will, you know, be shouting out, you know, equality, you know, inclusive and all of this. But then if you have a different opinion to them, well, that goes out the window, and you're going to be X, Y, and Z. Just the name calling starts, and they actually genuinely hate you, and they will go as far as doing sick, very sick, disturbing things like, as I was saying, you know, this kind of witchcraft, hexes, spells. Like, I just think this really needs to be nipped in the bud now. This is kind of some serious stuff, I think, that's happening. And, you know, as I said, it's not of God at all. We're in a dark place, you know. I just think society is crumbling. Now, as I said, I want to keep the video short. I could go into it in a very deeper level, but I really don't want to, because I don't want to be waffling on, and, you know, everyone's time is precious these days, and I prefer to keep the video short and sweet. But just give me your thoughts in the comments below, what you think of all of this. How do you feel about it? Like, where are we as a society now? You know, we have different opinions, but we're not allowed to have different opinions now. If you don't agree with the current agendas and governments, particularly in the Western countries, like, thank God this is not going on, we'll say, outside kind of the Western countries. I think there's a lot more free thinking in them countries, whereas we don't have it anymore. You know, as I said, you have certain opinions, certain beliefs, certain views. You are persecuted 100%, and, you know, you've got the name calling, you've got the doxing. They like to dox people, they like to dox people's families, they like to dox people's workplaces. But it's even getting more and more evil and sinister. Like, we are at the point now where, you know, there's hate involved, and they want to see you suffer, and they actually want to see you dead. I mean, that's pretty sick, lads. Very sick and very disturbing. So just give me your thoughts in the comments below, and that's it for today. Like, subscribe and share. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much, and goodbye.